In a little Texas town, in a rundown trailer park, where dreams are as faded as the paint on the side of the bar, a young mother gives birth with courage and a broken heart, an American anchor baby, a new life about to embark. Her parents came from miles away, chasing the American dream, but now they're just scraping by, working in fields so mean. They pray for their little miracle, a hope that'll never fade, an American anchor baby, whose future they've already made. Oh, little miracle, your tiny heart beats strong in this land of liberty, where you truly belong. Through all the trials and the hardships that may come your way, you'll grow up strong and proud, an American each and every day.
Isn't he Mexican?
Colombian.
He calls himself American.
What is this?
Anchor Baby.
And in this corner, it's the American Anchor Baby.
Daddy's home. That's an offensive term. People find that hurtful.
You mean it's not politically correct? Excuse me. I'll use the word anchor baby.
You know, he's an anchor baby in Canada.
Tell him we still rolling with Trump, too.
Anchor baby, the whole thing sounds horrific. You're just making it sound like immigrants are these horrific, greedy people.
Ustedes pueden aceptar mi negocio o aceptar las consecuencias. Plata o plomo.
So you would be considered white, in my opinion.
You're the blackest one in this room.
I think so.
And what happened was his mama got pregnant on the other side of the border, and then a few hours before, just before it was time for him to pop out, she jumped across the border and let him fall on American soil. So he became the anchor baby. You don't call him the anchor baby for nothing. Amazing.
We like this anchor baby, right?
Hello, I'm the American Anchor Baby. I had to pop in on that one, folks. How you doing on this fine Wednesday? I'm the American Anchor Baby, and this is my show. Thank you for tuning in. I see y'all rolling in from Joel's chat. Amazing shows today. Great stuff. And you're all loved up. You're feeling the emotion. If you caught the Texan Anchor Baby song there, you know, some of the lyrics. Don't pay too much attention. Don't scrutinize every lyric that deeply. Okay, just take in the emotion and the spirit. And we have to thank Jake Husden. Jake Husden, who's called my show before. We got to thank him for generating this amazing AI generated tune. That was the AI did that one. Don't blame me, blame the AI. American Anchor Baby. What a song. Amazing lyrics. Just don't pay too much attention, okay? I don't know what all that was about a trailer park. I don't know. Trailer park business. It's amazing how well the AI got that, don't you think? It perfectly, or at least pretty adeptly, if not masterfully almost, generated the right emotional overture, tune, style for the genre. Nice, the twang in the voice, even the lyrics, the cadence, and the chord progressions. Could it be? Could it be it's a... Could it be that the mystery, the mystery, what these musicians and artists, that's such a mystery. What are they tapping into? So mysterious. Could they be just formulaic connections of physical realities, frequencies? You get it. Look, I was talking to someone actually recently who had, if I remember the story correctly, they were messing around with a piano, and they don't consider themselves particularly creative. But they're messing around on a piano and they're playing a chord, and then they're playing the chord with one hand, and it's all like okay. And then they're tapping away on with the upper register with the other hand, with corresponding notes, just kind of matching it up. This person, and they're like, it's like I was painting. It was like I'm gonna make it sad. Now I'm gonna make it happy. Welcome to creativity, right? It's almost a function. I guess trying to say a side point here. They like to say it's such a mysterious function, and there is a skill to it and a time you can spend to develop something like that. But it's the same importance people put on intelligence, smarts. Look at the AI. The AI can recreate that? People's reaction is, so that means AI can be really smart. They could be God. We can look up to AI, instead of the conclusion being maybe thinking and smarts and knowledge isn't all that it's cracked up to be. Or anyways, if there's a point at all. They made an AI song, though. We appreciate it. Jake Husden, I appreciate it. Little Miracle, the song called me. Little Miracle. What's up with country music? Now, AI... I don't know. It must have been trained on some sort of model. And what's that model, folks? The model is the people, us. And in this case, the country music people. And what's up with country music? Is this a mirror to country music today? Was it always like this? Sappy. Doesn't it sound a little sappy? And the streets so mean. What was it? The lyrics. My AI mama in the song. Giving me everything, right? Giving me a new life, my future already made. But she's working hard in those fields so mean. It's just so hard in those fields so mean. But I'm going to persevere because of the American dream and twang, twang country. Am I wrong here? Where are the country people at? Where's the South? Shout out. Tell me where I'm wrong. I feel like maybe it wasn't always like that. Sappy. Now I see the country artists with like tattoos on their faces. And they're taking on this it's a hard life victim thing. And if I remember, that's kind of why I liked rap growing up a little bit. You may have forgotten. They used to call me the blackest one here. That may... Neither here nor there, not important, but I think that's what drew me in. Hip-hop and all that, it was this world's against me, perseverance story. My heart's in these raps. They don't understand me. I don't know. Something about that. Sappy, AI, country music, white. White, sappy, no good. I'm not making good conclusions here. It ain't no Merle Haggard. I know a little bit. I know something, okay? What's up, South? The South? Country people? It ain't no white boy looking for a place to do his thing. What's up, Lin Yen Chin? Speaking of what's up, appreciate that super chat. Says, discernment is real, and the sharpest extrapolation requires more than the AI has access to. Mouth breathers are terrible source material to train the AI, since mouth breathers have no sapience. It's almost, Lin Yen Chin, as if the AI is doomed to be us, or some of us, but really all of us. A mirror, so to speak, a black mirror. Ooh, anyways. So where were we? Where were we? The fall of the West. Okay, dang. that turned quick. We were just having fun. We were just having fun with the country music AI. All of a sudden, real serious. Because I want to show you a video. Let's get into this clip. We're talking about Joy Reid. This woman with a truly, I don't know what to call it, tragic comedy. Someone up there wrote this into the script and is having a good laugh, naming her Joy Reid. And she's talking about Trump, okay? She's talking about all these cases against him, the prosecution of Donald Trump. The Blaze shares this video where she is just gleeful, delighted, not in justice, not caring about honesty, normal things, good things, all good things. She's into the black thing. She's into the black thing and says it with a smile. No one bats an eye. And the excitement, she can't. I also got this from Anthony Cumia on Twitter there, and he says they can't even hide their excitement for what this is really about. Let me play this clip for you. We got Joy Reid, MSNBC. Let's roll that footage. I think we can roll that footage, I think. There's only so many things I could click at once, folks. Boom.
In prison. But for me, there is something wonderfully poetic about the fact that despite the fact that even if convicted, he's not going to go to prison, the first person to actually criminally prosecute Donald Trump is a black Harvard grad, the very kind of person that his former staff, the people who worked for him, Stephen Miller, et cetera, want to never be at Harvard Law School. But he was. And he came out and graduated. He's prosecuting you, Donald. And a black woman is doing that same exact thing in Georgia. And a black woman forced you to pay a $175 million fine that's out now also in question because the people who put it up, that might not be legit. Donald Trump is being held to account by the very multicultural, multiracial democracy that he's trying to dismantle. And for me, there's something poetic and actually wonderful about that. It says something good about our country that we're still capable of having that happen. Go DEI. My DEIs are bringing it home on today.
No, it's striking, and a system that also is affording.
And we're just gonna move on the news. And okay, Joy Reid, you are a credible, you are a person. Hey, that's not me implied she's not. That's not what I'm saying. Look, you're a person who's thinking rationally and that we should be listening to right now. And so the news, and so on with the news. Let me just move this here. Joy Reid, so full of something nasty. Doesn't it seep out? You can almost see it. The very kind they're trying to stop. So wonderfully poetic. Not only the obvious where she's telling with a smile the world that they don't care. She doesn't care about justice. That this is revenge. That this is taking down the white man over past grievances. White society versus black society. This is the white man that represents white society, the white patriarchy, and that's what it's all about. It's revenge, a revenge story. And she thinks that there are good things in the country. She says those are signs of a good thing, revenge. And I don't understand, I hear about multiculturalism. It's great. She even says it, right? She said multiculturalism. And, I'm pointing out maybe the obvious here, but they say it's so good. Why so much fighting? Why is there racial grievances every other corner? Why is everything getting worse? Crime going up? Look at the amazing multiculturalism. It's so incredible. And we're building as they destroy. So lies. The very kind they're trying to stop got him, is what she's trying to say, and she said, which is so she's admitting that blacks are angry and hateful. And that's what she's saying, right? Like integrity, No. Integrity, values, or anything even like close to that. No, revenge and winning is the main thing. That's really politics. You definitely heard that if you're watching Joel Friday today. That's politics. It's winning, and this is what winning looks like. It's brutal. It's angry. It's genocidal. No, I'm not gonna go there. So, anyways, the very kind they're trying to stop. I just wonder if it's all so good. Why is it going so badly? My DEI, she says, that's just her being, in my opinion, trying to get the goat of people. Like, it was me, and I'm doing it. So, tweet at me now, and signal boost me. It was my DEIs. But isn't that funny? They admit it. That's what DEI is. It's right. It's revenge. Okay. Wonderfully poetic. Absolutely. Joey Reid. I can't even disagree with that part. Wonderfully poetic. So I've been talking about. I mentioned birth rates and the West and white people. These are topics that come up on my show. And right now it seems to be more talk than ever. Replacement. What should whites do? What's happening in America? Immigration, demographics change, the changing of who's in America, who makes up the makeup of America, where they're from, increasingly foreign. So, like I said, it's a topic that seems to have more. You can just talk about it, right? You couldn't really say white replacement. That's pretty nasty stuff. Anyways, Andrew Tate, he's got into this conversation a little bit, and he's getting some backlash over it. And on the heels of that video, Joy Reid, that lovely video, he's getting a bunch of backlash over some comments he made. And he's talking to the white men, Andrew Tate to white men, and he has a message for them. And let me see if I could pull it up. The sun is up, and if you're looking at the screen, maybe we don't even need to put it on the screen. We're reading a tweet. Andrew Tate, at Cobra Tate on Twitter. Dear white men, you're effed. You're being replaced because none of you have children. Even those of you itching about the replacement online like little girls don't find the gumption to have sex. I see white men bragging about having 5 kids as if it's an achievement. LOL. 5. LOL. Capital LOL. Capital L, lowercase OLOL dot. Per year? Oh, all you white boys lost control of your women, and now they won't accept multiple wives anymore. Now they tell you they don't want any more kids. One's enough. They don't want to do their God-given job anymore. No, they want Instagram likes instead. So your genetic potential is stumped by the whims of some singular female. A female who takes 9 whole months to grow a single baby. Other races have multiple ovens for bread. We're not cucked, says Andrew Tate, putting himself in the other races. Amongst the other races, Andrew Tate is. Some itch is screaming at you about loyalty, and you're sitting there saying, yes, baby. Doing nasty things, I'm paraphrasing, with pornography when she's asleep. Or maybe cheating with a side itch and with a condom on. Oh, no, I couldn't get another woman pregnant. My wife would kill me. Andrew Tate mocks this hypothetical white man he's speaking of. Total effing losers. Soon your race will be nothing more than a few pages in a history book. A lesson on what happens when you F the female psyche so hard they're obsessed with money and social media as opposed to being one of many baby factories for a king. Dang, he goes on this. That Twitter X premium, putting it to good use. Andrew Tate, you don't have a limit. You could just. We're almost done here. A lesson on what happened. Okay, 30 children minimum for the Dons. He says, white people, go talk to your best friend wife, your best friend wife, about what to do this weekend. Maybe you could take a nice walk around IKEA. Sorry, I added that. I'm adding the Who's the strong guy who turned into a beta because he doesn't like Trump? Schwarzenegger. Like you, I can smoke my stogie wherever I want. Unlike you. If you know, you know. Enjoy extinction, he says. Dang, Andrew Tate coming at the white man hard. Whew. Okay, so coming at them hard. And you can call in 888-775-3773 if you if I didn't mention that already. Andrew Tate. Okay, what does he do? The little diamond. So Andrew Tate saying how it is. And he's getting some backlash here. It seems like the young people on Twitter, because they got the meme pictures and the green the little Pepe Frog pictures, and they're like, this freaking guy wants us to be a degenerate like all these other races, just having a whole bunch of babies. White people were amazing for different reasons, not because they could outbreed or whatever. That's what they're mad about. It's just, I find it all kind of all fascinating, as I say. Look, they posted memes. One might say this is hopeful in some way, right? I don't even want to show it because I guess it swears, but it's showing Andrew Tate on one side, and he's like, sports cars, cigars, okay, cam girls, join Hustlers University. And it's a Chad on the other side saying, get the F away from me. So maybe, hey, they don't want to do it that way. I'm seeing some young people say. They don't want to do it the way that everybody else is doing. And some of them are maybe going into anger and stuff, but something I noticed. But here's what's interesting about this. Besides what he's saying, I guess we could break it down a little bit if we wanted to. He's not wrong about this whole women pretty much got the keys and the men gave it up. And now they don't want to have babies. They want to work. They want to do all these things. And now all of a sudden there's like low birth rates. And I've heard these, and I don't disagree with these connections. I think this huge change with women in just the last 100 years, less. There's a huge connection, okay? There's a big story here, okay? That being said, he's trying to say his like prescription is like more world, more ego. Just be the best of the world. Just win in that world. Just win in the world, and be the best in the world. So you've heard it before, enmity with men and women, low birth rates, especially in the West. Maybe you think it's only the West. Well, check this out. Community notes. Andrew Tate gets community notes on him. He gets community notes-ed. I don't know how you say it. But there's people on Twitter who add context to the things people say. And the good people, nobody's good. Over at the community notes section place at Twitter are trying to correct Mr. Tate here. Check it out. Fertility rates have been falling in all parts of the world and among all races. The fertility rate of non-whites has fallen more than that of whites. And they share little links. They share some links here, fertility rates. And so he's getting, I just thought you might find this interesting. This whole thing here. Let me pull it up. But the total fertility rate, it's a number that's metric that is expressed in the number of children per woman. It summarizes fertility rates across all age groups in one particular year. And as societies have modernized, according to what we're reading here, from ourworldindata.org, says that fertility rates have declined very substantially as health has improved, mortality in the population has declined, and et cetera, et cetera. Okay, they say the reasons are advancements, technological advancements, and all that. health care advancements. But they're saying the whole world is dropping in birth rates. Sort of. They all agree there's a certain area that has a question mark over it. And a lot of these academics, even in one of these pages here, which one was the other one? Just so I could be accurate here. The one from IF Studies, in Institute for Family Studies, they agree that there's a big question mark over Africa and some areas. But they'll say they'll catch up. Once the modernization happens, once it hits them, they'll have the same thing. But this whole baby bust of the minority women, what's interesting about that? Here we are. Who breeds in California? I'm reading this out of this guy, Robert Stark, newsletter, independent journalist type person, and the numbers behind actual population growth here, specifically California. And to summarize some of the more interesting parts is, and I mentioned this before, so you've watched my show, but how, they call them minority women, the ones that come here, and the ones that are born here, their fertility rates they pretty much match and go lower, a lot lower in some cases than the the white people, native populations, etc. Now, why is that interesting? Now, you might think, I don't know, it's interesting to me for a number of reasons. I don't know if that should be that surprising. Think about it like this. If the fertility rate is almost a measure of the breakdown of family, and in a sense, even further upstream, the breakdown of simple things, morality, values, honesty. I may not agree with you, but I'm not going to lie and just want to win, etc. Maybe this is a stretch, but if that's a function of that, you could see a correlation. Then the people that they said, these minorities, they're not sending their best, like Trump said. Especially, even commonly, the ones who say they love America and all that lead the way in these destructive ways, in anti-American ways. There seems to be only a stronghold of decent people in America, and they're mainly amongst whites, from what I noticed. Right? Then there's kind of people who've inculcated into the society, into the culture, and that kind of orders them. Because I still grew up in a time where you kind of still heard things like treat people like you want to be treated. Justice is blind. Stuff like that. Guilty, innocent till proven guilty. Basic things. So, yeah, Andrew Tate, he's telling the men, make it happen. The young guys are disagreeing with him, some of them. And I don't know what to tell you. It seems like it's not a racial thing. And don't get me wrong, we could talk about it. But let's be real here. What's affecting everybody? It seems to be a little deeper, okay? A turning away from such basic things, immorality. And these minorities, these groups, Joy Reid, they're so justified nowadays. And they've been justified, it seems, by the media and whatever, to be okay with hating. That's just a totally normal thing. You saw yesterday that Indian woman I played, Reid Patel. She's going to these communist meetups, Palestinian stuff, and who knows what they're saying back in behind closed doors, but people that blame, groups that get together and their thing, why they got together is to blame, can't be preaching love. And then they go out and say it in public, and then she's shocked. She's crying that she's getting arrested. I'm trying to describe that there is no bottom to hell. It keeps going. And you might think, nah, people would never do something like that. They would never think or do something like that. But they do. Okay. who breeds in California. We did that already. Andrew Tate is apparently serious about it. Does he have kids? I don't know. But he's saying you better start having 30 kids, and you better do it with multiple women. What are you waiting for? I feel like that would change. That sounds Muslim a little bit. I don't know. Maybe I'm an ignorant person sometimes. But that sounds not American. That does not sound... it doesn't sound European. What the heck do I know? I know I sound ignorant. But I think you understand me. You could correct me. 888-775-3773. Incredible. Let me show you a quick meltdown. Speaking of POCs, allegiances, and anchor babies, and false love of your country and false love, I guess, in general. There's this guy. I don't even know. Was this guy funny at one time? I don't know this person. John Leguizamo. Sounds Italian, but he's apparently a Latino. Leguizamo, John. I don't know. John Leguizamo. He's on the Daily Show apparently here. This clip's going around, and he's just mad. He's real mad that Latinos are for Trump. And I know I was talking mad-ish about Latinos for Trump, but you got to go back to that episode. It's not without understanding. Let me show you this guy. This guy's mad. And he's on the Daily Show. Let's watch.
Clearly, Trump isn't making any effort to get Latino voters or making it a priority. But the thing that hurts me the most is that his lazy-ass strategy is actually working.
A recent New York Times Siena College poll shows former President Trump gaining ground among Latino voters.
The preference among Latino voters, I think it's at 46%.
Yeah.
Donald Trump, 40%. Joe Biden.
Excuse me for a second, please. Triple hijo de puta. Me la madre. Super panty. Mal marido.
Let's just laugh. That's funny.
I'm sorry. Where was I?
This is my level of comedy. Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. Right. It looks like the Democrats are in trouble. And you might be thinking, how is this possible? Donald Trump is winning Latinos? Build the wall, Donald Trump? Mass deportations, Donald Trump? Guy who thinks Daddy Yankee is a baseball player, Donald Trump?
No. ¿Por qué? How do I get through to these kids? Oh, man. Let me move this around here. We're playing this. I know you're cringing. Don't cringe. Just hold on. Hold on. They're just yucking it up. I mean, it really goes right after what I was showing you with Joy Reid. Meltdowns. It's funny. It's normal. It's not unhinged at all. It's just comedy. It's just comedy. I don't know. Do we all still believe that? I'm walking total tangent. Oh, it's my show. I'm walking back from the Mexicans. I'm talking to the Mexicans at the gas station. I'm coming back. And this guy jogs up. I'm waiting at the light. This guy jogs up behind me. He's got like AirPods in or whatever. And he's fuming. He's like, and he's making noises. It's audible and something's wrong. So I look at him and I step away. I make a big old step. I'm not even trying, maybe I was dramatic. But I step away. And I'm aware. I'm like, that's what I do. There was a person that died at that corner some months ago because they were crossing. And it's a wild corner sometimes. I'm paying attention. This guy's fuming, unstable to me. But let me put some distance. And he takes out a headphone. He goes, "What? Psycho, man! Like psycho. That's normal. That's okay. Take out your head. That should be he should go home after and really reflect. You take out your headphone. You felt something. You take it out. You go, what? That's a murderer. That's a murderer. You feel me? Never relax. You know, that Costin, I think this jogger was not, I don't know what you're saying, Costin. Here I am assuming what Costin in my chat is even saying. He said, never relax. No one's even talking about black, but okay. No, this jogger was actually, I think, I got gay white guy vibes. Maybe Jewish guy. I'm in the Jewish area. What? That's a murderer. If you think that's okay and you just react like that and you feel something because someone stepped away from you, you're like, what? So that's comedy, right? Latino meltdown. It's normal. We're having fun. But that's, I think, what a lot of Trump supporters, people who kind of been watching since 2016 have been trying to kind of point out. It seemed, and it's just getting worse and worse. The bottom fell out, and there is no telling people, hey, don't you think you're wrong for hating? Don't you think your hating and your anger is wrong? Like, you wouldn't say this. People didn't talk like this before Trump. They had at least some semblance of decency. Okay, you follow me a little bit here, right? So, Latinos for Trump. Nick's leaving out the part where he drop kicked the jogger. Hey, I'm not at the liberty to say. I did not drop kick him. I just left. That's all. Okay, psycho. I did get the temptation to say something, but I knew not. So where were we? Latinos for Trump. I'm a little lost. I got calls coming in. Appreciate that. 888-775-3773. Let me get my bearings here. Check on the super chats. I'm feeling like I wanted to say something about Latinos for Trump. Because I want to get into something about echo chambers. I want to break down this video, but I'm reminded of, I think, even the Hake Report today. And just, I forget what it was, but it's a kind of an underpinning theme a little bit, too, with the show today. Being American. Even in the Jay Hudson song, you heard the lyrics. It's like, an American each and every way, every single day. A little presumptuous, AI. And not to in general speak, right? I have the heart of an American. You know this, my viewers. God gave that to me because I don't have anger towards well, I may have anger, but I'm not hating towards the whites and the Americans or feel too incensed with some identity, like I'm an American. You can't tell me what an American is. I was born here. Anyways, maybe you're following the ramble. What the heck are we talking about? I want to tell you about this video by this guy. And he's on Twitter. And I don't know him that well. And I really want to play the video because I've heard talk like this a lot lately. And I just so happened upon a video where someone is speaking all the words that I want to respond to. So it's not really personal, Lucas Gage on Twitter. I'm going to get into a video here if he's even watching. Nothing personal. I see these fits online. And these influencers and people who make content online, some of these people, their whole content is around I called out this person, exposed, Zion, pedophile exposed, Zionist exposed, blah, blah, blah. And their whole thing is this getting people thing. And I guess I'm just making a side point. I don't like that stuff. I'm not trying to do that. There's this one channel who, it's not even worth mentioning. Frederick, Los Angeles, you're on the air, sir. Appreciate your call.
How's it going,
All is well.
All right?
Yes, sir.
Yep. You was talking about, I called in earlier when you was talking about the babies not being produced like they, God's plan is all it is. Why do they keep track of that data?
I'm not sure. I never thought to ask that question. I may have even assumed they always tracked it or something.
You think the government try to tweak it and make it go the other way, and the more they try to tweak it and come out with Plan B pills and stuff like that, the more opposite way it goes,
It sure seems like that, huh? It seems like the machinations of the government is like falling apart in some ways.
Yeah.
Do you think that's like a huge effect in this, in general speak here on this fertility rate business? It's government's meddling.
I think so, yeah. Because back in the 80s, when they first introduced sex education in school, I mean, the STD rate and the babies out of wedlock were way down. But once they introduced that, they tried to act like, oh, it was a problem. And then as soon as they introduced it, started teaching kids about sex, they were more sexually active and doing worse than they were before. So it's always the government interfering in what's going on. But
I can't even disagree with that. Do you mind if I ask a question here on that? On this, you know what makes me think? I think about what the government's doing, and I'm thinking about what you just said about curriculums and sexual education. What do you think about this? Is this a stretch? The connection between, let's call it liberation of women or something like that, and sexual education. Don't you think you could draw almost a line there where you need to educate the people on the reproductive stuff and how that's a woman's body and it's her choice, and it all kind of. What do you think about it? Is that a stretch? What's the connection there? I think there's a total line you could draw.
Yeah. I mean, I believe it's the parents' job, but the schools feel like it's their right if the parents don't. I mean, they want to tell you when your kid's ready to hear about the birds and the bees. I think it's wrong, but like y'all do, y'all already came up with the conclusion of homeschooling your kids. So homeschool college, that's what's next, right? It's liberal college, and y'all going to homeschool college, and y'all going to make your own degrees.
And you say this because you may doubt, you say this why? Help me understand.
What do you mean? I'm not saying that this
You're saying is what's next after that? Is it college? Is it homeschool college?
It has to do abortions on the ticket, right? So if people are like, and the women do have control, they don't need beta men no more because, I mean, the beta males goes to show their cup. They're giving all their power and money over to the women.
Totally.
Freely.
Freely. That's why it's false power. If men just have to say no.
It ain't false power. It's real power, and the women is like...
No, all men just have to say no. That's the thing.
We have a small majority to pick from.
Yeah. But what I mean by false is that what takes it down is actually just saying no.
Just saying no to what?
Yeah, just saying no to women. Just saying no to the whole thing.
They don't even ask for nothing no more. If you get the right woman and you know how to talk to them, it ain't about money. It's about the educational and what a man can do for himself. These men can't even provide for themselves no more. They can't even match a woman's worth. They need to get their weight up. They can't tell a woman shit. Excuse my language. I'm so sorry.
No problem.
I'm sorry.
There's no
problem.
problem.
Like the women done made it to the point where if they team up with blacks, we're running the United States.
But even
black males, black females, and white women alone. That's all we need. The Mexicans and white males, y'all are minority.
Look, you're not wrong about weight up and the men and all that. But are you saying that until men make more money, that there's nothing women have to change? Because even in that scenario, if I may just flesh out a little bit, even in that scenario, the woman still doesn't have to be so evil. Because think about it. What do you want? Why do you want so much that you can't put it aside and be like, wow, he makes less. Maybe we don't need that much. I think what's more important, and this is a hypothetical woman, what's more important is a family that stays together and raises the kids, and that's going to require me to stay home. So you know what? I make less. Instead of being so evil that she's like, get your weight up, huh? Get your weight up. Why don't you get on my level? And society's falling apart.
I hear you.
Guess what? You don't. If you're eating, the baby's eating.
I hear you.
You know what I'm saying?
100%.
If I eat, the baby eats. What else do we need, baby?
The white man's playing the victim. He's not winning. He's not eating. He's playing the victim and crying.
Yeah,
that's what you're getting. It. Don't act like.
No, I'm not acting like anything. I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm making a different point, right? I'm just saying. I'm making a completely different point from men from that, right? I'm just saying.
Let's stay on.
Yeah. Don't you agree that the women? Why are the women being so evil that they're like, oh, get on my level?
Sympathy. There's no sympathy. You know what I'm saying? It ain't evil. It's just about man up. It ain't about having women. You want women.
Is this hypothetical man working? In this hypothetical situation, is he working? Is he there? He's married her. What more does she want? What do you mean, man up? Time to man up. Why don't you make enough money? Get on my level. How about you drop your ego? You don't need that much. They used to put babies at diapers used to be rags.
When a man
and if
acting like a
if
woman,
I'm eating,
listen,
my baby's
okay,
eating.
I'm
sorry, I'm being
tell you.
bombastic. I'll let you talk. I'm sorry.
It's all good because you don't get it. When you feel like a woman's hurting your pockets, you're not earning.
Say again?
That should be play money. That should be the money that we trick off regardless. That if I go to the gambling bowl and have fun, you are entertainment woman, and I spend this much for entertainment. I go over here. Why do you gotta put this in a basket to say, no, I don't want to do it. They don't have it, and they play like they got it, and they don't, because if they had it, they would, because it's entertainment. We play with money. Your play level goes to where you at. They probably, with the $40 girls that only mess around with $40 to mess around.
I think I'm following
the
you.
more money you got, the more money you got to play with. So that's why rich men have beautiful girls, because they can play with more
Everybody
money.
knows that.
It's about...
But everybody,
it's
you're not
all
saying
about
anything.
playing
I'm
with the
following
money.
you. I don't think anybody's disagreeing with that.
Okay, well,
but
that's
who in
why
the
they
world
need
would
to get
disagree
their
with what you're
weight up
saying?
instead of crying.
Wait, what?
That's why they need to get their weight up instead of crying. They making minimum wage job. McDonald's workers out here.
But no one's disagreeing that people are shallow and that a rich man would obviously very easily, with wealth, attract many things that you want, shiny, beautiful things. I mean, no one's disagreeing with anything you're saying, right? But your conclusion
but if
is,
they know that's the entertainment. They can imagine what living with you would be like.
I'm not sure what I keep missing what you're saying about entertainment and all that. I'm not sure what you mean by that, but I think what you're saying is men can level up and they know how to play with money, and the more you do, look. Let me say what I'm saying, Fred. Let me finish my sentence. If I'm following you, I think that's what you're saying. But but I think every man knows that, right? Don't you agree, Frederick? Every man knows that. Every man they're either tripping about it or they're like, whatever, that's never gonna happen for me. But every man, you see what I'm saying here? Like every man knows that. They're like, I gotta make more money. Or they're thinking society wants me to make more money, or I need to do this or that. Like you're telling something, you're just saying what
you're acting like all men know that, and it's not true. There's men out here that won't make women mods on their channel. They won't tip women that has a channel because they're a woman. They out here women bashing.
What's that got to do with anything?
Like it's cuck stuff. No, I'm telling you that, even they acting like it's simping to send a woman a super chat, but they'll send it to a male.
Yeah, but
you don't think that's gay?
Why are you talking about other people?
No,
I don't care about all that.
I'm just saying, do you think that
the world is full of simps, full of Simpson itches? You're right.
Culture. I'm asking you a question.
Okay.
Why would men think it's okay to send a man a super chat but not a woman? Because that would be Simpson.
Because maybe they think this is pure speculation. I'm wading into the murky waters of speculation with Frederick. I shouldn't do this, but maybe this person, what's it called? Maybe this person has a wrong view of what masculinity is and the order is, and they think tipping someone online is simp culture. Okay. I don't know what to tell you.
All right, that's all I wanted to know. I appreciate it. Because it's a mixed up mentality.
If Frederick is talking about you, because he does this a lot,
that mixed up mentality.
If Frederick is talking about you in the chat, don't feel the need to defend yourself, because he does this a lot, and I forget sometimes. And I know you admitted this. You admitted this on the Hake Report the other day in English.
No, I'm talking about culture.
You admitted to the Hake that you don't talk to him, but you talk past him to people in the chat, and that's pretty evil. So if he was talking about you in the chat, I'm sorry I even played the game. Frederick, last thing you want to say before you want to move the wheels?
No. That ain't what happened with Hake.
Last thing you want to say before you move the wheels? No, you admitted that on the Hake Report.
That was a misunderstanding. I wasn't talking to nobody in the chat. I thought
you said that.
Actually, I'm trying to clear it up. I thought he was actually somebody else in a chat, not talking to somebody in the chat. I was talking to Hank.
No, you weren't.
I was.
No, you weren't. He wasn't even understanding you. You were like, "Oh, but people listening to me, they know who I'm talking to."
I'm gonna prove you wrong because you're assuming right now. There is a profile called Mama with the
No, what are you doing? No, what the heck are you doing?
Hey,
why are you doing that? Oh, sorry. I must have missed. I thought you were
Hank.
trying to promote something, Frederick. Apologies.
No,
apologies.
I'm talking about Hank, and you said I was talking to somebody else, and I was talking to Hank. I thought he was that character. He got his picture on it, and it came through a chat, and I thought that was Hank. I said, I think you come through. I said, you, Hank, I think you come through. And then I said the name of the person in the chat was Mama and then he was like, hey, you talking to, and it wasn't him. He let me know that wasn't him in the chat. Somebody stole his face.
Gotcha.
So I misunderstood. So I wasn't talking to somebody in the chat. I thought he was somebody that came through in another chat, and then he was like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. So I was wrong. I thought he was somebody else. It wasn't. I was talking to somebody in the chat.
All right.
I just said okay because I was wrong, but he didn't know what I was talking about. So don't assume, Nick, that you know what I'm talking about or what I'm doing, because I don't. Man, don't worry about the snake pit. I don't worry about the snake pit.
Gotcha, Frederick. Right
you know
on,
what
sir.
I mean? That's all it is. All right, Nick. You have a great day.
Okay, take care. Call me again, 888-775-3773. You know what? The only interesting part that I should have zeroed in on, that's my fault, folks. I'm learning, okay? The really interesting part was the education thing. He brought up the education and sex ed and all that. And don't you see the connection, the feminism, the requirement that feminism, the necessity that feminism, feminism requires this sex ed for its purpose of usurping the spot of the man leading in society. The sexual education, the liberation of women, and the liberation of sexual blah, blah, blah is kind of a necessity. And I think you could draw a line. I think you could draw a line from this whole liberation of women and the roles of it. I think you could draw a line from that to the apparently falling birth rates of the whole world, of the entire world, apparently. I mean, some question marks over some areas, but. And if I think about the world I grew up in ever since I was born, I guess I can go into history books and all that. But if I just look at the world I was born in, that's how it's been everywhere. In the movies, in the media, and around me, growing up, in my family, in school, when I hear about other cultures, but that's how it's always been. So, anyways. Big super chats. Thank you. Back-to-back super chats, in fact. Let me get into this here. We got Lin Yan Chin. Lin Yan Chin, very generous. Thank you, sir. Back-to-back. He writes, discernment is real and the sharpest... Apologies, we read that one. There was an earlier one, Lin Yan Chin. I missed this. It reads, where evil reveals its face, the glittering glow of sparkles will shimmer and shine. As Nick washes away all nefarious things, he, the grace of God's anchor baby, eternal sparkle blouse victory. What poetry. Thank you, Lin Yan Chin. Another one from him. Frederick, L.A., and her 92 points of IQ reduced to 85 at age 13 and now 75 via age. All she has is tangent writing because internal instability is what she holds where inner stillness belongs. You notice I'm having trouble saying she? I don't know. I don't like it, Lin Yan Chin. It doesn't gel with me. I get called Frederick she, but you understand. Jabrail NTP with the super chat says, Frederick, man, should be out working. Support men and not a woman. Think with the head up on the shoulders and not anything else. And a little laughing emoji. Thank you, Jabrail. And Lin Yan Chin with one more super chat. Oh, never mind. We read that one too. Lin Yan Chin, it seems like you doubled up on supers here. So, no need to be so generous. It sounds like you repeated yourself there. I'd hate to see you just throw money away you didn't mean to. YouTube scammed Lin Yan Chin into a double donation. This is a mess. I remember Streamlabs made it very easy to refund super chats, but I don't know much about. I've never really found anything like that on YouTube. What a mess. Make sure you have a good internet connection, or I don't know, when you're sending a super chat and all that. I do believe that's quite rare. And you can buy me a coffee. buymeacoffee.com/anchorbaby. Because Lamps bought me 3 coffees. And we must thank Lamps. Fascinating and truly a pleasure. Lamps writes, I concur. Okay. It's time to move on. It's time to keep it pushing. 888-775-3773. I want to show you a little video. I teased it. Lucas Gage. He's on Twitter, and he appeared all over my timeline pretty much at the outset of this Gaza war stuff, and I've seen him be very vocal about the war, the atrocities. He's a harsh Jewish critic, Israel critic. Is my impression, right? And I'm only saying that because I'm about to play a video of him. And, to be honest, I think the whole thing, a minute and a bit. But honestly, I don't know much about it. I care very little, and many things his wheelhouse of topics and all that is something I know nothing about, and I would never challenge him, or I'd probably get schooled in all the stuff he knows. I don't know. I'd probably get schooled any day on I don't know, this stuff, some of this stuff. So again, it's not a challenge to Lucas. I just noticed something, and I bet you Lucas Gage might even understand me noticing things. He might even respect that if he disagrees, but he may even respect me noticing. And so that's all I'm doing. Let's get into this video, because here's his video, Lucas Gage, and he's exposing a clever Israeli trick. Well, he puts the Israel flag. Okay, we're gonna get into it, folks. Give me a sec here. Oh, Lin Yan Chin, no refund. I am not that kind of black. With another super chat, proving that very fact. Lin Yan Chin, thank you, sir. Very generous. Am I gonna do it? I'm feeling the generosity. I mean, this is pretty much hitting the thresholds of last weekend. Let me just do a little math, some mathematics here. Hold on. Let me do some math here, because this back-to-back generosity is. We'll think about it. Okay. With that, Lin Yan Chin, with that, I think it hits the threshold. I got to say, Jabrail, Lin Yan Chin, and Carver, you're all ballers this Friday, okay? Thank the generous benefactors, Jabrail and Lin Yan Chin. All super chatters are ballers for this Friday's flight. Thank you for that. Okay, let's get into this video I've been teasing. Okay, boom, bada bing, bada boom. Let's play it.
Show you a Jewish trick that many of you are falling for right now. Okay, the Jewish trick is very simple. They take over both camps. They split people in half. They take over both camps, left and right. Right now, we have Jewish Voice for Peace leading the march against Zionism. So a bunch of Jews controlling their side of the half are fighting the other half of the Jews that control Zionism, and they're fighting really bad. And how are they fighting Zionism? They're making the Palestinian cause look insufferable and crazy, just like BLM. They did the same thing with BLM. Believe it or not, at first BLM was legitimate, although they were misguided because the Jewish media convinced black people that they're being exterminated by white cops. BLM was created, but then it was co-opted and taken over by Jews. And what they did with BLM was make it super annoying, right? Not only were they screaming at the lunches and dinners people having, blocking traffic, looting, they were also burning down entire cities. So that's what Jews do. They take over movements, they turn them into these Marxist, revolutionary things and destroy the message completely, causing further division. Because what happened with BLM is after they took it over and made it this terrorist group, Nobody cares about black lives anymore. And it reinforced racism between whites and blacks and police and blacks, making more blacks hate police, making more police hate blacks, whites and blacks. See how it works? Same thing with Palestine. You take Palestine, a legit cause. You don't have to be left or right to not want to kill babies. And they say, no, actually, all the people on the left, we're going to make it seem like they're crazy left-wing, feminist, Marxist, transgender supporters who are anti-white and hate America and say death to America. And that's exactly what they've done. They're blocking traffic. They're making things uncomfortable for people. They're making BLM or Palestine look like BLM and make it insufferable. Why? Because then all the conservatives will never abandon Israel. So the Jews over here make these people
a little bit more. We're almost there.
So crazy that the Jews over here are protected. It's an insurance policy. That's precisely what they do with every single movement. They divide and they conquer both sides, and people fall for it because they don't want to be associated with this crazy left-wing group so that Zionism and other Jews are protected. Very clever.
Very clever.
Let me show you a Jewish chick.
We're done. Thank you. Very, very clever. It says Lucas Cage here. And I was going to jump in, but whatever. We let it play. And I found, did you miss it? Did you miss it? There's one part that was just so truly fascinating. There's a bunch of parts that were interesting. And there's a whole bunch I don't even care about. It's not my wheelhouse. And I would never even want to debate about it because I'd lose that debate any day. But hold up. He says, what does he say? He says, I'm forgetting. He's exposing the clever trick. He's saying that the Jews, they get in on these both sides and they get the both sides to fight each other and they just control the whole thing, okay? And Black Lives Matter, you see, Black Lives Matter was legitimate at one point. He says, okay, and I'm supposed to, I guess, understand that he's a patriotic kind of person, or I don't know, at least sensible or cares about good things. He's saying he doesn't want dead babies. This is a moral thing, the dead babies. So this is a man of conviction and morals, right? He says, though, that Black Lives Matter, well, that was legitimate at one point until the Jews got their hands on it, is what he says. And so I'm left wondering, okay, maybe his standard of morality, his standard is coincides with the people of Black Lives Matter. So in a sense, he wouldn't be lying. He would just be wrong and brainwashed and evil and angry. But maybe he agrees with the oppressed, this plight of the oppressed. But then he says something I found so interesting. Let me see if I could play it once more for you. Just that one section about what he said about Black Lives Matter.
And how are they fighting Zionism? They're making the Palestinian cause look insufferable and crazy, just like BLM. They did the same thing with BLM. Believe it or not, at first BLM was legitimate, although they were misguided because the Jewish media convinced black people that they're being exterminated by white cops. BLM was created, but then it was co-opted and taken over by Jews.
So the Jewish media lied to the blacks that they're getting killed by cops, and that's why they went and created Black Lives Matter in the first place. But also they try to make him look crazy for that. And that's why there's no more Black Lives Matter, and that's why people don't care about Black Lives Matter. Am I missing something here? There's something not logic here. There's something not very logic here. Help me where I'm missing it, folks. There's something that's not very sir. Reasonable. Think about it. He's saying that at the same time, the cause, it was created by and destroyed by them. What am I missing? I'm not. Anyways, where was I? There's just something I don't get about that. But I had it better worded a moment ago. Hold on. I'm telling you, I saw something here, and I know you see it too, right? that didn't make sense. That just didn't make sense. Okay, how can it be that? We might have to play it again. Hold on.
Crazy, just like BLM. They did the same thing with BLM. Believe it or not, at first BLM was legitimate.
So at first they were legitimate, right? At first BLM was legitimate. They had a correct gripe. But wait, what was the original legitimizing gripe of BLM? Apparently, according to him, it's the Jewish media that made them think and believe into the lie that they're being killed by cops. He says it himself. Look, I'm remembering now what I wanted to say. Thank you. Appreciate the patience.
Misguided because the Jewish media convinced black people that they're being exterminated by white cops.
So this whole thing, though, so you're saying it's a lie that the Jewish media lied about that, but you said BLM was legitimate at one point, but the creation of BLM was this Jewish lie. Help me understand what your definition of legitimate is. Do you see what I'm saying here? That's what I want to say. Whew. We almost lost it there, boys. But we're back. Apologies. It must be a really loud video. So that was one point I wanted to make.
BLM was...
So, yeah, help me understand what is your definition of legitimate? And all that. He calls it legitimate. So is this an example? Is this an example before our eyes of adopting, tired old hate, and you throw away values? Really no different than Joy Reid, really no different than that Latino, whatever his name was. In one moment, in one statement, you throw out values, basic values, right? The values I imagine some might want to keep were being replaced. And he says, and he throws it all out and believes he can hate his enemy. Do you follow me here, or is this you following me here? You have to be following me at this point. He throws all values and believes, well, no, I can do it to them. I can do unto them this way, and it would not make you evil, but it does. Yeah. So that's that. Lucas Gage, appreciate the video. So I could respond to some things here. He says they take everything and turn it into this Marxist stuff and reinforce racism. And that's something about the world I didn't know, like how liberal everybody is. Even if you call yourself Christian, if you call yourself Jewish, if you call yourself many things, and I'm pretty sure Jewish people vote Democrat like pretty heavily, just like blacks, right? And this reinforcing of racism, all these isms, it goes back to that hateful thing, anger. What else? What else about this? What else? Damn. And what am I supposed to understand from this too? At the end of the day, is he teaming up with are you saying he's saying the Jews co-opted the Hamas, the Palestinian side, and they're making them look insufferable. They're making them be insufferable, protest in the streets and block the roads. You're telling me they don't want to do that? You're telling me they don't want to do that? You're telling me they don't want to disrupt and be destructive little devils, little communists? But they made them do it too, right? Anyways, you guys get me a little bit here. 888-775-3773. What's up, Bill? What else are we doing here? Let's switch it up, I think. On this whole war stuff, I hear about what America should do and peace in the Middle East and being a Christian, for example. I've heard this too, that it's the Christian thing to go and stop a genocide. There's a genocide in the world, and Christians are just sitting by, allowing it to happen. Even okay with the, all that. And I'm like, speaking of basic fundamental things, what happened to lead by example? I don't know if America is in any place to go around being the leaders of morality and safety in the world. So yeah, in a sense, I am saying I don't personally think we should be involved over there. I can't think of a reason why they can't all fight their own fight, Israel included. 'Cause we're funding all that. But this whole, there's this Christians going around saying, we got to stop a genocide. Lead by example. What happened to that? I don't know if there's Christians. Look at your country. Look at your country. If you're really in any place to go around leading by example, you're the stoppers of evil in the world. But yeah, so what else on this? What else? I think that's it. Let me see. Let me scroll down here a little bit. Milk doesn't really quench thirst, right? It just makes you full. I don't know where you heard that propaganda hake report, but milk is the most hydrating drink in the world. Hydrating, nourishing. Is milk the most hydrating drink? Harvard Health milk is considered to provide better hydration than sports drinks. After drinking milk, the study volunteers produced less urine and therefore retained more fluid than with water. Don't talk. I'm sorry, I get heated. I get passionate. They say I'm a child, drinking milk with meals. I'm strong. Milk propaganda. This is a pro-milk show. I'm laughing. I'm yucking it up with my chat, folks. We're about to move on to another topic here. 888-775-3773. Speaking of speaking of Jewish people screwing people over. Follow me here, YouTube. Don't get mad at me. I'm talking about OJ. I'm talking about OJ and a funny tidbit on his life here and his book. This book that he wrote. If I Did It. If I Did It. Here it is. If I Did It is a book that OJ wrote. And in fact, see, these are little interesting tidbits I didn't know. You might find interesting. Maybe you didn't know either. You see, OJ was, what's the word? Is it acquitted or what? I want to be accurate here. Was OJ? Yeah, OJ Simpson was acquitted. But he still had to pay money. He still had to pay money to the victims. Okay? OJ Simpson. A California jury found in a subsequent civil judgment several years later that Simpson was liable for their deaths and ordered him to pay Brown and Goldman's families $33.5 million in damages. Isn't that strange? And I'm not a lawyer. I'm a layman. And maybe this is totally normal. It makes sense. Someone might want to explain it to me, but maybe this is a feature of court cases that are tried by public opinion. You see what I'm saying here? Like, okay, we couldn't get him on this, but we'll get him on that because we all know he did it. It's kind of like Trump. Okay, we can't quite say he, except it's the opposite, right? This is not like everybody knows Trump didn't do it. This is like the opposite. Trump, they say they couldn't get him on. They couldn't pin it on him that he actually may have raped this woman or whatever, but we'll make him pay for it. Isn't that what they did with Trump in the 𝒔𝒐𝒄𝒊𝒂𝒍𝒔 case? It was the best segue I could come up with, okay? Don't get mad at me, chat. O.J. Simpson was ordered to pay money, I didn't know this, to the victims' families. And he was found liable, according to CBS, for these deaths, despite not being criminally convicted, okay? And he wrote a book. He wrote a book called If I Did It. And so basically the book is essentially that. It's essentially O.J. saying, I didn't kill them, but if I did, here's how I would do it and why. That's literally the book. And that was horrifying to people. And I learned that they made like thousands of copies, like 100,000 copies or something, and they destroyed them all because it was so bad. And I don't know how that went down, but that's how it ended up. I read somewhere. That's how that book ended up. But at that time, O.J. still had to pay money. He still owed money to the families he was liable for the deaths. And to do that, it was some lawyer or whoever now owns the book or the intellectual asset, Goldman or something. I don't forget the name. And they decided to put the book out anyways so they can get money and all that for the family. And they put it out with this cover. They put it out with this cover here. Oh, man, hold on. I'm trying to pull it up. This is the cover of the book. And it's titled, I Did It. I Did It. But it's actually not titled, I Did It. They're not libeling O.J. Simpson, who is now, he's dead now. Rest in peace and all that. Or whatever. It's still titled If I Did It, but they put the if. Look where they put the if. Little tiny if. And so this is the title. This is the book cover. I Did It. Confessions of the Killer. Because the family maintained his guilt, even though, their belief of his guilt and all that. So, interesting tidbits. Moving on. O.J. Anyways. You do, Nada? What's it? Have you read it at all? Right on. Right on, folks. Okay, let's keep it moving. What do we got next? Milk, OJ, and look, that was the segue, okay? When you're talking about Milk, OJ Simpson, and hating, and the Semites, that's the segue. It presented itself to me. Don't get mad at me. All right. Let's keep moving here. We got more show for you. 888-775-3773. The libs are eating literal doo-doo. We're going to pull on this thread. I came across this story, another story here coming at us from Mike Cernovich, much appreciated. I come across an interaction of his on Twitter, and he's talking to someone who goes by the name 𝒔𝒐𝒄𝒊𝒂𝒍𝒔. I happen upon the interaction here. I'm like, what are they on each other about, huh? All nosy, all thrilled. And I'm pulling on it. And so Cernovich is responding to Rogue Scholar Army here. So we're going to go from the end. We're going to go from the end back to the beginning. Spiritually Reddit talking points. Okay, we've had enough evidence now of what rejecting God leads to versus the alternative, says Cernovich. And so what's he responding to? What's got him calling someone spiritually Reddit? That's horrid. You don't want to be called that, okay? Spiritually Reddit. Unless you want to, I guess, be stronger. He's responding to Rogue Scholar Press. irrationality, and stupidity are not necessarily the result of rejecting God. Embracing God causes some people to cut off baby boys' foreskins. Is that daytime language? Or have it bitten off by a holy man, so-called holy man. Cult members in search of God do crazy-ish all the time. Okay, so we're pulling back on the conversation here. They're talking to each other there. One saying the religious people are crazy. Cernovich is like, listen to this guy. This guy's spiritually read it. Okay, what did Rogue respond to? Cernovich is talking about someone else here, Peter Bogosin. And he writes, this ish-lib will defend eating ish, actual poop, literally scat. This is where rejecting God leads you to. Hey, man, if people want to eat ish and film it, what's it to you? Wait, hold on. No, Cernovich. No. Don't tell me that if I keep pulling on this thread, I'm going to find doo-doo at the end of it. Don't tell me that. Peter Bogosian, what are you saying here that's got Cernovich so incensed? He writes, the comments here are not merely authoritarian. They demonstrate pervasive normative rigidity that comes from Christian fear of judgment, the downside of a Western supremacy mindset. No, please. Please don't tell me we're going to find poop at the end of this tunnel. What is he talking about? He says, unpopular opinion, mind your own business and leave the guy alone. No! I'm hamming it up. I already knew. I'm hamming it up. I already knew there was poop at the end of the tunnel. But listen, they're talking about a politician, and they're quote tweeting this post by a Greg. And he writes, is there a flag and pronoun for this? And he reports on this news that ProPublica is reporting on gay politician in Spain has abruptly resigned from his post after photos began to circulate showing him eating his own feces. Is this still daytime language? Help me out. Daniel Gomez del Barrio was a counselor with the governing left-wing party. I almost don't even want to show that. It's blurred out, but it's nasty. Gross stuff. But that's the story. We're swinging by the picture once more for those who missed it, but it's blurred, and we're not going to leave it on the screen. That's what's got people going, and there are people defending it. Unpopular opinion. Mind your own business and leave the guy alone. And I bet you the Christian among us, the level-headed, the not emotional among us, will agree with some part of that notion, leaving people alone and all that. But hold on, this is a politician. Hold up, we gotta talk about this. So this person got a lot of backlash for even mentioning that, and they double down. They say the comments here are not merely authoritarian. They demonstrate pervasive normative rigidity that comes from Christian fear of judgment. It's Christian fear, folks. That's why we don't want to eat poop. It's just Christian fear. It's just we've been brainwashed by Jesus, and now all of a sudden we think eating feces is all nasty. You've been brainwashed by society and Christian theology. I'm pointing out the obvious here. We're yucking it up. We're yucking it up a little bit, but I don't know if you realize there's no bottom to hell. People can think all sorts of crazy things. Not sure that's what he means. What did I get wrong? I could be wrong here. What am I getting wrong? The comments here are not merely authoritarian. They demonstrate pervasive normative rigidity. So what's the pervasive normative rigidity? Well, I don't know. The overarching urge to not eat your poop. I think that's the normative rigidity he's talking about. And where is it coming from? He says it's a Christian fear. Where did I get it wrong? I don't want to get it wrong. I'm open to talk about it. And it's a downside too. It's a downside. It's not only is that a Western supremacy mindset, it's a downside. I don't know. I think there are some upsides to shaming people. There might be some upsides here. Okay? Where are the tribes that said it's okay to eat poop now? Asked Carver. Okay, you win. That's a good one. They're dead. I mean, I don't see them. That's a fair comment. Everything is fake. I'm going to let that one smoke on that. That is a fair comment. Yeah. You get it, right? In India, maybe. No. They do not exist. There's no way there's poop eaters en masse. En masse? I don't think so. Is dung halal? You might find that a strange question. Asking for a friend. I'm asking for a friend. Is it halal? He may be going through something similar. He doesn't want to be judged, especially by his Muslim compatriots. I'm making this up. This is a made-up story. I don't know a Muslim who wants to eat poop and is being judged by his Muslim friends, but I'm segueing, okay? Halal. What does that mean? It means clean, right? Lawful or permitted. It's a dietary law. Not to be confused with kosher, but I guess similar. What's the difference between the two? I get it. One's Muslim, one's Jewish, but like, what do you do differently? On the contrary, foods that are not considered halal are considered haram, not permitted. That's haram. Haram. Humans don't eat poo, animals do. I think that is a fair statement. Okay. But did you know that your baby's first poop is very valuable? I mean, now we're really talking about poop. Are we done? I think we're done. We don't need to get into that. Okay, I think that's enough poop talk. Whew. Nick's 5 million Indian Substack subscribers are ticked at that comment. I'm being incredulous about it, Carver. I refuse to believe something like that. I personally don't think that's true. And I'm not even joking. Halal. Did you know, is your food halal? Is your wife, is your relationship halal? Is your marriage halal? Is your mortgage halal? Speaking of the Semites, here's another segue for you. Speaking of Semite laws and what's forbidden, what do they call it? They call it interest. They call it usury. Sharia law prohibits loans that charge interest. Okay? That's Sharia law, okay? And I'm reading this from NerdWallet, okay? Because there's amazing things happening in Canada. In my Canada, I have a special place in my heart. I am an anchor baby. I may be an American anchor baby, but he's an anchor baby from Canada. And NerdWallet wants to inform all the brand new Canadians that they can get a halal mortgage. You can get a halal mortgage. You want to own a home. You're Canadian. You're a brand new Canadian. You want to own a home. But you can't Sharia law prohibits riba, or loans that charge interest. Conventional mortgages are forbidden for practicing Muslims. I mean, I remember I feel like I saw a lot of Muslims with houses anyways in Canada. well before this. But anyways, to meet the spiritual and financial needs of Muslim homebuyers, a number of Canadian lenders are now offering halal mortgages. Many Canadians might associate halal with food, but the term actually applies to Muslim society in general. Describes behaviors, activities, including lending, that Islam deems permissible. So, dang, how are they making a mortgage halal? According to Sharia law, riba is seen as exploitative. Borrowers are forced into a never-ending cycle of debt at the expense of lenders who reap continual profits. I feel like I've heard this before. I've heard these definitions before. You know, I've heard these things. I like these things, Habibi, about loans. And this forced into a never-ending cycle of debt. Forced into a never-ending cycle of debt. Forced. That doesn't mean, okay, let's keep reading. That doesn't mean halal mortgages remove profits from the equation. Well, that's interesting. Instead of interest rates, a halal lender might charge a profit rate. Oh, that's a cute way of, that's a cute word. Profit rate. How very Semitic of them. I don't know what I'm saying. Even though these profit rates can be based on the Bank of Canada overnight interest rate. Oh, so wait, the profit rates can be exactly the same as the interest rates with a different name? Okay. They tend to be higher than the rates attached to conventional non-halal mortgages. Well, you know, you got to pay. You're paying for cleanliness in your spiritual life. It's going to cost a little more. Okay. Never said you want to be clean or you want to save money. You know what I'm saying? Muslims. A halal lender. That is hilarious, Mr. Pink. Very funny. Halal lender. That is funny. We're going to keep it. Let's keep reading this. So the profit rate is not an interest rate. It's not an interest rate. Okay. It may be the same as the Canadian overnight interest rates for everybody else, but this is halal. The increased cost is due to a variety of factors, including a general scarcity of available capital to lend out, as well as increased financial risk to the lenders, since Islam also restricts mortgage foreclosures. Oh, well, that's convenient. You can't foreclose my home. I'm a Muslim. Consumers can generally expect to pay up to an additional 4%, et cetera, et cetera. Very interesting. I just find this interesting. I like getting culturally enriched. And I find this all fascinating. And what a big change in Canada. Nick, Toronto public school snack programs are all halal. Incredible. This is why you watch my show, I guess. You want this coverage. It's incredible. It truly is. They have types of halal mortgages. You liking this? Sharia compliant mortgages. Isn't that so crazy what they've done with God and stuff? I've seen some Christians, Catholics and stuff, they'll say similar things like usury is evil and da-da-da. And I don't want to be ignorant here. That's in the Bible, no? Usury or something like that. But I like to keep things simple. And you can call me if I'm wrong. 888-775-3773. I need to look at the world simply, or else I'll go crazy. Or at least I try to. And this is how I see this. There's no forcing going on. And although there's people entering agreements that are bad for them, they're still part of the agreement. People will say that people are entering loans and agreements that are predatory. They said that about the blacks, remember? And owning homes. Redlining. They'll call it predatory, but it's so devoid of any reality. You just can't say that. You can't, and this is not me discounting the scammer, the evil in the scammer. Okay? But just like these scammers out in the streets, the Romani lady, the homeless Mexicans, so-called homeless, the people, they're out there lying and scamming people, but the people who believe them and think, wow, this person was really hungry, they're not victims. They are some of the worst people you know. They are some of the worst, most evil, dark-hearted people you've ever met. You have to be dark-hearted to look at an able-bodied person slumped over on the side of a street looking pitiful and think, I need to feel bad for them. I need to do something for them. There's something, you're a psycho. You're something majorly wrong with you. So, you see what I'm saying here? I gotta see it. I gotta keep it simple. And then I think of like the things that Christians and others I know that they've benefited from being intelligent with certain things. Look, I'll tell you this. In my life, when I just paid off stuff without thinking about it, without thinking, but I need to incur some debt so that I can grow my wealth. And I never really thought like that. I just had some credit cards. Never really had too much debt in my life. I got to be straight up. And I personally believe I've been blessed for that reason. I remember when I decided to not even hold on to too much credit card debt at all and just started paying it off, like Dave Ramsey said, with a vengeance. Just pay it all off. I noticed my wealth like just growing, and probably for simple reasons, huh? Maybe I'm a simple person, but it's probably for simple reasons. I'm not living out of my means. I don't have these other bills that I'm not really factoring in, right? Credit card bills and all that. But I don't know if you could just call it evil. Tell me where I'm wrong. I guess to me, what's more evil to me, getting out of that conversation, is the ignorance in people and their propensity to be lied to and be scammed, I think comes from their own immorality and degeneracy. It comes from within. You follow me a little bit? So I try and keep it simple in that way, because I've had this conversation with people about loans and stuff. And that's not to discount that there are scammers. Don't get me. There are people who don't want to work. Okay? And so they'll work really hard. They'll put a lot of energy into the scam and to keep it going. And you can cook, which is a game changer. You know what? Everything is fake. That's interesting. That might be true. Put some time into that. You might be able to use that in a positive way in your lives. People in the chat. Just simple cooking. Simply chase stuff. Maybe someone can recommend. There's someone I know who can recommend to me a book. I know someone. There's someone who's listening, I think, who can recommend to me a very good book for cooking for two, cooking for yourself. John, Texas, appreciate your call. You're on the air.
Hello, how are you?
All is well, sir. Yourself?
Man, I'm not doing too bad, and I got some money. You know, I have like some side hustles.
Very nice.
And, but you know what's on the money is, it says, "In God we trust." And the money, belongs to the government. What Jesus said, render unto Caesar that's which is Caesar's. So, but there's not like much God in government anymore.
Yeah, I wonder if there ever was.
Well, I'm sure God is like in there pulling strings. But do you think God is in the government, like making things like happen? in certain ways.
I think God, if you ask me to answer you, I think God may have been in certain individuals, especially definitely in the founding of America, all the way through even till today, maybe. Yeah, that's how I see it. I think he works through some individuals. And those individuals, you really only need a few, right? You only need one or two. You only need very few to do the work of God, if I can use such grand language for a moment.
Yeah, well, I mean, I gotta stop worrying, you know. Like, I worry a lot.
You worry? About?
You don't worry?
Let me think. Yeah, I think I do, but you don't want to know. It's like about dumb stuff. And then the second I realize it, I stop. What am I worried about? I worry about silly things, like what someone is maybe thinking about me. So, yeah, if you put me on the spot, I'll answer your question there. But
Okay,
yeah,
well, I'll answer your question.
Yeah, please, if you could.
I mean, I
It's
worry
not too personal.
that halal lending is going to come to America, you know. And people are going to adopt it because there's no God in government, you know. And it's just going to be like a cyclical thing. Like, you know, they're going to blame Christianity for not being in the government anymore, but they took it out, you know, and you got to blame Christianity for their problems. I don't know, but they're going to take halal into the government in America, and we'll see what happens, you know.
And why are you worried about that?
Well, I'm just worried that I'm not worried, but I mean, I'm worried that, I'm not worried.
What worries you about that?
Stuff.
What worries you, or, what worries you about that? Or if you were a worrying person, what would you worry you about that?
That it might be good, you know. It might be good, and it might be something that I just go along with.
Oh.
You know, something that I believe.
And you're worried about a halal style, like Muslim government and whatever's coming in that's not being stopped. You're worried that it would be good and that you would adopt it?
Or my children.
Right.
Or even like, my wife, if I had a wife.
Mm-hmm. Well, allow me to ask you this, just for reason's sake. Because you're saying it might be good. Like, if it was good, why would you be worried about it? Are you worried that it might be bad?
Well, I don't know too much about like foreign.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would say that there would be a lot more foreigners coming to the country.
Definitely wouldn't be the same.
I think that what the country was built on, Christianity, and something that's logical and reasonable be replaced by something like irrational. And like I have to get a job that was like a crazy job, you know. I have to work like crazy, weird, doing weird job, like weird stuff at the job.
Would you say
my neighbors would all be weird, and I would have to hide like that?
That sounds like a nightmare. But hold on. Would you say, John, would you call today, like your life and like life around you today, would you call it reasonable? Would you call it any of those things? The opposite of all the things you just described?
Rational. Yeah.
You'd say the world is rational to you today, and you're worried about it becoming irrational? So you would call today society rational?
the government somewhat. I would say
you might not
like the
be wrong.
laws in place that have been in place for a while, the laws.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, like with my situation where my situation is actually kind of, I'm under like duress right now because there's forces that are like I'm tangling with, and principalities, and I'm under duress about that. But I know that like I'm not alone, and if I'm like still, there's strength inside to overcome, and I just need to observe, and like I'll be able to tangle with these forces and principalities, and they're not gonna live long. To say, so to speak, they're going to, perish, by their own way. But if the masses like get together, then like it's just gonna be like it'd be even more forces and principalities that I'll have to like outlast.
So but you do agree, you believe that God is with you when you're still, and I think you're right about that, man. You believe that God is with you when you're still like that?
Yes.
So if God is with you when you're still, then why should it matter if the whole world? You know what I mean?
It just shouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter, and you know what? I'm not.
You just can't go crazy along with them, and I think God will protect you. Do you believe that?
Yeah, I mean,
you just can't go into the same hell the world will go in. If you avoid that, God will protect you, I think.
No, this is just like me worrying about like how I'm gonna keep my body going.
Oh, if you were like, if it were to be threatened by these things that are happening in the world.
Yeah, and
but is that happening to you right now?
Well, what's being threatened is like how I'm going to take care of my body, my resources. My resources are being.
What's the biggest threat to that right now?
It's really myself.
Mm-hmm.
See, I have like an inheritance coming in.
Mm-hmm.
I have an inheritance coming in, and they're questioning me, like if if I am capable of taking on the inheritance.
Is that really their business? I don't know how that works.
If it's deemed that I'm a threat to others or a threat to myself.
This is by the law or by the people giving you the inheritance?
The executor of the will.
Oh, and they
deem me a threat to myself or others.
They were given this authority by the will, or this is like a law that this is just how it is for everybody.
It's family. It's family, man. It's they can like sue me. They can like go to the court and like sue me.
Understood.
Not sue me, but they can take it away. If they think that, but they might try to do that. They've already said that they think that because I did some drugs like 9 years ago that I have brain damage.
Ah.
And I'm like, and it's so out of the blue. It's so out of nowhere.
That is crazy.
And
but money's involved. People are evil with money. So don't give them a reason.
That's another thing.
Don't give them a reason. You know what's the reason,
that's
right?
That's why I like.
There's only one thing you got to do to avoid that, is to not get angry.
Be still. I'm not getting angry, and I'm being halal. I'm being totally halal right now. Right
on, John. Hey, can I ask you something? Can I ask you a quick question? you mentioned, you said, I'm currently going through, and I may be paraphrasing, but it sounded like you were describing that you're being attacked or something like that by principalities. You're going through something right now. Can you describe that a little bit? Can you give me an example of what you mean by principalities coming after you? If you could, if it's not too personal.
I am like not angry, but I'm not like getting along. Like I'm not like going along with like with the person I'm living with, my stepmother.
Ah.
Okay? And her anger, I'm not going along with that. And she has built an army against me.
Wow.
And that's just what I mean by principalities. She's not really my stepmother because she actually had come back like when my dad was dying. She came back.
So you never grew up with her or raised by her or anything like that?
She was around for like 4 or 5, 6 years, like in the middle of everything. So no, I was not really raised by her.
I see. So when your father died, she came back into the picture, and now it's been you two since.
Yeah, she came back in the picture as he was dying, and
this is this is someone that your father had married before or something. Not your actual mother?
Yes, she's not my actual mother, but I like her. She's nice. She's got good work ethic, you know. I like her, but it's just it's not really, she's not really there. It's like you know, it's a force, you know, behind her.
You like her, but she's also the
thinks
principality that's coming down on you? Help me understand. What is it that, are you guys not getting along?
Well, the thing is, like, my dad and I have a dog, okay? I had 2 dogs, and my dad cherished these dogs. And she came in, and she became full of hatred for the dogs, full of hatred, yelling, screaming, and then, you know, she turned on me, I'm dirty now. Like, she says I'm dirty, you know, and let me tell you that my dad, he's also another principality, you know. He's smoking pot.
You say your dad? I thought he died.
Well...
Or he was?
He brought her back in. He brought her back in, you know, because he was smoking pot, and he brought her back into the will.
The woman that you're living with.
Yeah.
Do you two fight? Do you two fight about over the will stuff? Do you and that woman fight over the will and stuff like that?
No. Right now, I'm in the house that's going to become her house.
Do you guys fight?
But it's not her house yet. I live here still.
Do you guys fight?
And we have some spats over the dogs. You know. But
can I ask you one last question?
Will. Yeah, go ahead.
If you could say again, if it's too personal, do not say anything you don't want to say. But look, can you tell us why? Why are you living with her? I know that's how it ended up after your father left, and then so now you guys are in the same home that she's gonna own shortly, I guess, because of the will. So she's about to own that home. Does she not want you there once she owns the home?
So my dad and I, we were going around the world and stuff because he was gonna perish, and I was going with him around the world, and so I didn't have a job. I don't have any money. Okay, I don't have any money, and so I'm waiting on the will to have some money.
I understand, man. John, may I say something about that? I guess you're not even asking advice or anything, but I'm not necessarily want to advise you, but I'm just hearing your story, and it seems to be something glaring for me personally, if I may point it out.
Well, like I'm a part of Bond, so I wanted to like at some point bring this up because you know I want to share it, and it's been so like I need a little bit of counseling because the whole time like there's like spats with my dad, and we were both smoking pot, and it was just tough, but yeah.
And in response to that, John, never hesitate to call the office, set up something with Jesse. You know that's always there, right? You don't never hesitate. You have the number of the office and all that, right, sir?
Right. Yeah.
So you never hesitate on that. But I just
right.
If I could point something out, there's something so interesting about this that it seems so. And just throwing it out there, 1-800-411-BOND-2663. If you need the number, but on your story there and everything you're telling me, this interaction between this woman, I don't quite understand it personally, if I can put that out there, and bickering with this woman does not, from what I can tell, this woman does not like you, does not care or anything about you in that way, and it doesn't seem like. And I'm not trying to say this I'm not trying to say you're alone, John, you're so alone, like it's such a horrible thing. But it doesn't seem to me from everything you've told me, like not this woman and really nobody else seems to really have your back here. Maybe your dad did, but now it's you. And I don't say this to be glib, but I don't know if you should rely on anybody. You may be. I hope I'm not speaking out of turn. I don't know too much about your life, but you understand it sounds like you're waiting on this money. And I'm not saying it's not coming, but look, it seems like there's people around you right now who are even willing to fight with you. This woman wants to fight over the dogs. You got an executor who's trying to find out if you're like able to handle the money or not. You need to worry about yourself and work.
That's my family.
And you need to just be working. Yeah, your family does not care about you usually.
So,
and by that I mean they're not gonna like you still gotta work and handle your own stuff. And so far it doesn't seem like do you understand me a little bit here? It sounds like you may be relying on this a little bit, and you just don't know what tomorrow might bring.
Money, no, I don't have any bills. I don't have any bills. Because the account is paying for itself, like the bills is paying for itself out of the inheritance.
Right, but
I don't
besides
have any
the
bills or anything.
And that's great. But besides the bills, it sounds like I would never be just bickering over some dogs with some woman that's not even my mother, that my father married, that's now in my life bringing me misery. You see what I'm trying to say? It's like you gotta be a little stronger, man, is all I'm saying. And it's not a real criticism of you. I don't even know you, John. I'm just hearing you out. But you having money, having your bills paid, I'm glad. That's fine. But you gotta toughen up a bit, man. Like you can't be bickering with this woman, and you gotta handle your own stuff. And so working is one way to do that. That way you can be self-sufficient. You know what I'm saying here? And you still don't have that inheritance money, so you don't know. So don't live your life as if I personally don't like living my life like that, assuming like something's already done. Anytime I've done that, I paid for it.
Yeah, I'm paying for it because like I have all this like worry now.
And that's another thing. You got all this worry, and I'll let you finish what you're saying though. My apologies. Go ahead.
Yeah, I have all this worry, and it's also like not fair to her or my family or anyone for me to, be like that, and you just it's not going to help me get a job.
And work is just going to be great. In terms of growing and all that. Do you see that you need one or want one? I know we're overtime, folks. Give me just another minute. Man, John.
Yeah, I mean,
Is there anything else you want to say
I listen
here?
to the program every day. It helps me to like cope with like my choices, and but I'm part of Bond, so I'm like growing and
Keep it up, man.
I'm putting in towards Bond at least because I have like some side hustles. They're not enough for me to like take care of myself, but I don't have a job.
Imagine a job and a little bit of side hustles. Now you're laughing.
Yeah, I know. It's just like I don't want to take care of. I don't want to like. I want to worry.
You want to worry instead of taking care of yourself?
I don't want to be laughing.
No, but that's actually a good thing.
this-
In Canada, that's slang for, that means you're not worried. If you're laughing, it means you're not worried. It's slang. It's Canadian slang. So if I say, I just need to get a job and be on my own, and then I'll be laughing. It means everything's good. Nothing to worry about.
I know. I want to be laughing. It's just like there's.
You know
I
what?
wanna be
Can I
laughing.
give you
Like,
one last?
I am laughing right now. But
Yo, Hake Report has something really interesting. He says, "Stop talking about what you intend to do, caller. Stop talking about, everything I talk about in my life, John, that I tell people about. I'm like, I'm gonna do this. I'm thinking about doing this, and I know I gotta do this. I need to do this, and I gotta do it, and I need to do it. So I'm gonna do it. And I keep telling everybody talk to people about what I'm gonna do, and I tend to do. I never do it.
right. So but I'm not done. God is with me. Okay.
It doesn't sound
Every
like you're done,
day-
John. I don't believe that at all either. It doesn't sound like you're done. No, I'm not Stay with it, as Jesse says. You know, it sounds like you're praying, and man, I'm with it too, John. I'm doing the same thing. I'm doing the exact same thing.
Right on, Nick, and like that's cool, man.
Don't hesitate to call
That's
John.
cool, man.
And I gotta let you go. We're over time. Last thing you want to say before we move the wheels?
God bless America, and I need a halal lender. I need to find one of those.
Right on. John, Texas, call me again. That's the show, folks. Way over time. Santino, Victor, Kareem, I truly appreciate you calling and waiting on hold. Call me tomorrow. That's it. We got tomorrow is, wow, is it truly already Bible Thumper Thursday? Tomorrow's Bible Thumper Thursday on the JLP show. You don't want to miss the Hake Report. You don't want to miss Joel Friday live on Thursday and IG and American Anchor Baby at noon as we do. Take care, folks. I'm out. But am I being too hasty? There may have been super chats I missed. That's everything, folks. Whew. Right on. Take care, y'all. See you tomorrow.